I want to welcome everybody out there to hear some stories of some of our amazing dietitians that have had 50 years of membership with the Academy, including the Nebraska Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. So I'm going to have a whole host of these wonderful historical members of ours.
Well, that is a question I don't have a really good answer for, believe it or not. I mean, I actually started out college wanting to be a high school math teacher, and then wasn't quite sure I really wanted to teach, which is ironic since I've been teaching now for 44 years. But I actually just really kind of fell into it. I really always enjoyed science. I enjoyed math. I enjoyed the human body. So I think as I recall, I think I actually heard about it from Kathy Goddard, who I knew from high school and from growing up. And so she was a dietetics major. And so I was like, why not? I'm just gonna major in dietetics.
Really like the applied aspects of food nutrition. It was more fun to talk about ways to maybe get people to eat carrots than it was to, than to talk about all the nutrients and in them and all the beta carotene, et cetera, et cetera. So I got into extension and I worked there for, almost 40 years. And it was fun because you were applying it every day, and every day was really different, and so it was just really a fun career.
I worked with and was introduced to dietitians, and my mother made sure I knew the one at the hospital, that type of thing. I worked there summers the whole time that I went to college. Sure. And it was, you will know this before you go kind of thing. And literally the woman took me in her office and said, before you finish this summer, you will know how to do every job in this kitchen. I was like, okay, I will do that.
Actually, I thought I'd be a home economics teacher, but I always had dietetics in the back of my mind. And so I took a lot of my courses with the thought of changing over. And chemistry was kind of scary to me. I thought it would be really tough. But when I got through the chemistry, I thought, I'm changing my majors. I made it through chemistry.
Being finished with the internship. And passing the CDR exam, that's still, I think, a big deal. It is huge. If I could prepay for 5 years on that, I did.
When I joined the Food and Culinary Practice Group, the Dietetic Association, it was so much fun being with a group of dietitians with that common interest, and they did a very unique thing is they sponsored all these international trips. In fact, I got to chair 2 of them. So we through dietetics was able to just kind of travel the world, get dietetic credit, and eat and drink around the world, really.
Part of it was just, I think, the students that came from so many different places around the country. There was somebody from almost everywhere.
There's a lot of patients that I've told stories about in class, but there's some patients who just really had a really big impact on me, and I think really impacted my confirming for me how important it is, even though we didn't use the word patient-centered way back then, but how important it really is to really provide patient-centered care and to really see every patient as someone's daughter, mother, brother, son, just to really have that kind of compassion and empathy. I think that really came from some of my patients that I saw very early on in my internship program.
It's about 1996, does that sound right, when this really all got, the internet and that really got kind of started, and our office had a website really early on then. I can remember the first time I sent and received an email. It was, I was so excited, and I was like, oh my God, that email box will never be empty again.
I have 2 responses to that. Certainly one is just how far we've come in terms of from my internship at Yale to how we practice today is just so totally different in terms of, been around long enough to remember when when we first used the words nutrition assessment and how people were just like, oh my gosh, we can't do that. And then all of the angst we had over the nutrition care process and making nutrition diagnoses and how, oh my gosh, we can't do that. And so I think just seeing how much the profession has changed and how much practice has changed from a clinical perspective, but even in other areas as well. I mean, just the wealth of knowledge that we have, how we really have moved forward.
Right. I mean, to think the importance of dietetics in keeping kids alive. I mean, that was just starting to come in on the horizon. And I remember, and it was probably about that same time, maybe 10 years later, that it came out that a surgeon asked the dietitians at the hospital how much fluid this person should be having. Well, we'd never calculated fluid requirements for people. And now it's just automatic. You just automatically do. You're saying, okay, this is the volume they got to have. And this is, and figuring out tube feedings and doing TPN under the hood and stuff. I mean, that all came out. It was just like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And then you learn it and you do it.
Because we've been able to move into so many different areas. You know, you were either management or you were clinical, and there was nothing else. Those people that, well, it was education, but you know, those people that were stretching out into whole new areas on it, you know, you were doing that on your own.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, when I first started, there was no blood glucose monitoring really outside of urine dipsticks. We think of it, I mean, that's just gone these days, and many people really didn't monitor at all. So to me, that is a massive change where people are be able to either monitor or the implantable, you know, glucose monitors that people can wear. That is so much different. And I know that some of the technology they talked about for years, probably 20, 25 years before they actually came to fruition.
I have two things. Certainly one of them is to never stop learning, never lose your love for learning, and having confidence in you, that in yourself, that you can learn new things and that you can learn new skills and you can do things. I think that's why I still love teaching, is I still love learning and keeping current. The other thing would be just to really encourage to really be involved in your profession. So my career would not be nearly as satisfying and impactful for me if I had not been involved on a professional level.
Part of it is also to rely on others. It's not just you out there, it's everybody else. Everybody has expertise. And without their expertise, you can't build on it. Partnerships, collaboratives are so important. Without them, you really don't go anywhere. You might move the needle a little bit, but we tried to really get the whole state together, as many people as we could, as many different professions, pharmacists, social workers also. I forgot to mention them. I'll probably mention many of them, but it really does take many people, as you will, to help the village, if you will.
It motivates you to be around other motivated people. So I just think to join things and get to know different people and just get to learn from all those folks, because you may discover there's some other ideas out there than your own that are pretty good or better.
Okay, if we find somebody that has they're already in whatever, and get to know that person well, and don't be afraid to ask questions.
Oh, I would say get involved and never quit learning. You've always got to continue to learn. I mean, we have our learning opportunities, our CEUs, but there's always other fields that you have. You never stop learning. Always keep going and get involved in your local or state academy association. The friends that you make and the networking that you do, it just opens up so many opportunities.
There's a common thread that runs through that is an interest that you get with a group of like-minded people who enjoy food, who enjoy good taste, who enjoy learning new things, and you automatically have a common bond.